If you want to get into gypsy jazz a little bit, there's a couple of chord voicings that are not difficult at all, and they just use 3 notes. Now this one is A minor 6, which A is the root, C is the 3rd, and F sharp is the 6th. And that gives nice sound for rhythm on gypsy jazz. And you just play every chord really short, and downbeats with all downstrokes with the right hand in between the sound hole and the bridge. You don't want to get too close up here to the neck because it gets sloppy sounding. So back by the bridge and you get this kind of sound. And the nice thing about this shape is you can move it around. One of the key components of the sound of this music is a very heavy pick. This one is about 5 millimeters thick, and it's a material very similar to tortoiseshell, so you can play fast and hard without the pick actually starting to come apart or get burrs on it. Of course, this type of guitar is specifically made for playing gypsy jazz, and there's companies that make them pretty affordable ones. Gitan has another line called Cigano. Aria also has some pretty affordable ones if you want to just try it and you don't want to spend a whole lot of money. Or you can also play this style on an archtop guitar or a regular flat top or even a classical. The trick is just to get a fairly thick pick and play back by the bridge and put some meat into the attack, and you'll start to be getting a gypsy attitude. Gypsy jazz is a fairly flowery style. There's a lot of flourishes and a lot of kind of virtuosic technical licks, and some that sound more difficult than they are. Here's a little run that incorporates hammer-ons and pull-offs, and it's basically an A minor scale starting on your high E string. I'll play that again for you. So you can hear the hammer-ons and pull-offs. Another thing you can do is kind of rapid picking with the right hand on a chromatic. So you're just going right down chromatic, and then from there down diminished. And diminished is just minor thirds, one after another, which are notes that are 3 frets apart. And then another thing you can do is kind of a nice sweeping lick, and you can do this with just 2 fingers. This is a D minor. So it's down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, down. And you can play that pretty fast. And those kind of licks are fun to play because they're not too hard, but you travel across the guitar and they have kind of a nice sound as well. So that's a kind of a diminished run, but it ends up, you end up getting a tonality of a D7 flat 9. We're starting on the 3rd there. And climbing up in minor thirds again with this pattern. Then ending on a G6-9 up on the top. that chord, it's like an A13, but with a flat 9 in the bass, right? And Django used it for. And so on. Well, that chord, George Harrison used it at the end of his solo in "Till There Was You," and I think he used it here. And the Beatles didn't know what to call that chord, but there was a guy named Getty who taught at the music shop in Liverpool, and he showed them that chord. So they called it the Getty chord, you know. Oh, George, you've ended it with a Getty chord. That's that. This is a signature model, Gitan, and it's patterned after the French guitars made by Selmer back in the 1930s that Django Reinhardt played. The body size is about like a dreadnought, but they were the first guitars back in the early 30s to be manufactured with a cutaway. So it's got a cutaway for access to the high frets. They were traditionally made laminated. The back and sides are laminated. The inside is mahogany. The middle is birch. And the outside of this one is Brazilian rosewood. And it's actually quite figured. And this company, Saga, found some people that will dig up the stumps of Brazilian rosewood that has been cut down. So it's environmentally friendly and also beautiful. The stump wood is usually more figured, so it has a fairly hefty neck, as the originals did. Ladder bracing, like a classical guitar. The top is just slightly arched, and it's a pressed arch to the braces. So you get a little bit of a trampoline effect in the body, the face right here. Tailpiece and a floating bridge, and slotted headstock like a classical. So this guitar has elements of a lot of different acoustic guitars. A little bit arch top, a little bit classical, a little bit flat top. But it's its own beast, best for playing Django-style music in gypsy jazz.